So there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards, or here. Do I get electrocuted if the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking? Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted, or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? Because I will tell you, he didn't know the answer. He said, you know, nobody's ever asked me that question.
Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is 10-Minute Testing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is in a bit of a stasis right now. We know it's good, we know it's bad, and we're none too interested. It's times like this that make us want to look to the future. So let's do just that, checking out ROTA and presenting sharks.
There's no problem with sharks. They just didn't really understand.
So here's the list. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. I've been shilling Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck for, well, years at this point, and I'm happy to announce I have no intention of stopping anytime soon. By now, they've become the most complete repository of tournament tops on the internet, the best place to jam prog with friends, and of course, still host strategy articles. Recently, they've added a new piece of infrastructure to the fold, a 3-card arena draft, draftable with card pools featuring classic formats, Master Duel, or within any parameters you like. Give it, or any of their other features, a look at www.ygoprodeck.com. With that, let's slide into Shark. Shark is a series of level 4 water monsters that all assist with performing Xyz summons, originally wielded in the anime by Shark. It just baffles me with its creativity. Anyway, this deck's been off and on playable a number of times. As new rank 4s and water enablers are trickled out, it becomes more and more justifiable to just sit on a couple of them and hope for the best. When the most recent wave of support came out in the water set, it was good enough to sneak into regional tops for a short period of time, but outside of that, it's been pretty common in the kiddie pool. Until now. The new support coming in Rage of the Abyss, thanks Jaxel, is damn good, including new monsters, new enablers, and new setups. By swimming with these new sharks, the deck is able to make the Toad boards and Lancer that it's already known for, but can also use cards like La Virtue Dragon to search Icarus attack for some interaction that doesn't just immediately lose to Dark Ruler. Keep in mind, for this list, we are assuming we are getting a 7th Tachyon import. It's currently locked behind the Light Pack, but that set may be retired, and it makes a lot of sense as one of ROTA's import slots. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up are new sharks, 3 copies of Surfacing Big Jaws. If this card is used for the Xyz summon of a water monster, it can be treated as a level 3 or 5. Get used to hearing that. And of course, the next couple of effects are hard onces. During your main phase, if a spell card was activated this turn, you can special this card from your hand, and you are locked from the extra for the rest of the turn, except for Xyz. And on normal or special summon, you can add a fish shark from your deck to your hand. Frequently, you're going to be getting this card, Drake Shark. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you can special summon it. It's Poplar, folks! And this card can be treated as 2 materials for the Xyz summon of a water monster that uses 3 or more materials. You can only use each of the previous effects once per turn, and if it is used to make a Shark Drake Xyz, it also gains the effect that once per turn you can detach 2 materials from this card, then target a spell trap on the field, and attach it to this card as material. We've got some holdouts from previous builds of Shark. Buzzsaw Shark, still a fantastic normal summon. Abyss Shark, still a fantastic extender. And we are also playing 1 copy of Xyz Remora as the thing you frequently summon off of Buzzsaw Shark. This is a really old card and can be special summoned from the hand by detaching 2 materials total from monsters you control. And when special summoned this way, can target 2 level 4 fish monsters in the graveyard, special those in defense position, their effects are negated, they can't attack or change their battle positions, and they can't be used as anything but material for an Xyz summon of a water monster. For spells, run 3 copies of 7th Ascension. This allows you to take a card from your deck, either a Barion's spell trap, a rank up magic quick play spell, or a 7th spell trap, except 7th Ascension, and then either add it to your hand or put it on top of your deck. The deck part is so you can search the 7th one, but we're not doing that. If your opponent controls a monster special summon from the extra deck, you can banish this card from your graveyard and send a rum from your hand to the graveyard. This effect becomes that spell's effect when this card is activated. And then we're on 3 copies of 7th Ascension, which allows you to reveal a number Xyz monster in your extra deck that has a number between 101 and 107, and add a monster with the same type or attribute as the revealed monster and a level equal to its rank from your deck to your hand, then put a card on top of your deck. Then for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you can't special from the extra deck except Xyz monsters. Finally, 1 copy of Reincarnate Unveil Mail, and this one is hard to explain. So this is actually an Armored Xyz card. In decks that are already playing the Armored Xyz monsters, this is the second card you could theoretically search off of your Armor Fortress. An Xyz monster equipped with this card gains these effects. It can't be destroyed by battle, and then once per turn, if it battled this turn, you can return an equipped card equipped from this card to the hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon a Water Xyz monster. Then once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can equip this card to an Xyz monster you control, and that's a hard once. Finally, we've got Virtue Stream, which for all intents and purposes is just Icarus Attack for fish, sea serpent, or aquas, and then it can be banished from the graveyard, then target a face-up monster on the field. If it is a water monster, the next time it would be destroyed by a card effect. This turn, it is not destroyed, and if it's a non-water monster, it becomes water. Both of those effects are pretty interesting because you are playing a Kragan package that cares about that kind of thing, and of course, you know, Icarus Attack with Upside is pretty strong in a deck that otherwise lives and dies based on the ability of its monsters to resolve their effects. We're playing one copy of Full Armored Xyz, and get ready for 19 non-engine. We've got 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, 3 Fuwa Ross. Oh, it's just sinking in how much I'm going to have to see this card. 1 copy of Called by the Grave, 3 Dominus Impulse, which seems to be pretty frequent in decks post-ROTA, and 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence as well. In the extra, we've got some old standards. 1 Stealth Kragan spawn instead of 2. We just really don't have room. Stealth Kragan, Abyss Dweller, totally awesome. Le Virtue Dragon, tip, if special summoned, can add a Virtue Stream from your deck to your hand, then can activate one of these effects. Detach an Xyz material from a monster you control, then add a fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster from your graveyard to your hand, or target 2 Xyz monsters on the field, attach material from one of them and attach it to the other as material. 2 Bahamut Shark, 1 Xyz Armor Fortress, 1 full armored Crystal Zero Lancer, 1 full armored Dark Knight Lancer, 1 101. This card is in here for the 7th Tachyon, but also does come up. 1 C101, a Nash Knight, a Shark Drake, and a Shark Drake Leviathan. In the side, we do have the 7th one for funny haha combos. We've got Harpy's Feather Duster, triple Cosmic Cyclone, triple Crossout, triple Dimension Shifter, triple Solemn Judgment, and 1 Gozen Match. Still just as oppressive with Stealth Kragan as it has been in the past. There's just fewer of them. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against Merlantian. So excited to see this deck again, even though it's about to experience some water-on-water violence. We're going first, and though we have drawn the full armor Xyz, we can always shuffle it back with that Tachyon. Let's go ahead and put that sucker back, and then activate the effect of the surfacing Big Jaws summoning itself, and activating the effect to grab our little boy Poplar. We'll activate Drake Shark, and our opponent will chain Dominus Impulse. Okay, we'll just normal the Buzzsaw Shark then. We're going to go Buzzsaw Shark effect in order to summon an Xyz Remora from deck, and let's get Xyz summoning. Down comes Bahamut Shark, detaching the Remora for La Virtue Dragon. Go ahead and get that copy of Virtue Stream before we go for an Xyz Armor Fortress, detaching 2 so we can grab a couple of cards, then overlaying for full armor Krista Zero and full armored Dark Knight Lancer. We'll activate Dark Knight Lancer, and then afterwards we'll go for the Remora, activating Reincarnate Unveil Mail and passing back to our opponent. They'll draw for turn, and in draw phase we'll go full armor Xyz. To perform an Xyz summon, doesn't have to be over that Dark Knight Lancer. Let's go for the Stealth Kragan. We'll go for the effect of the full armor Xyz to suck our opponent's copy of Neptibus, but they do have another one by using Bodyguards and Abystius in order to grab another Bodyguards and the Prince to the field. Okay, that's worth a Virtue Stream. These ignition effects are killing my opponent, and they'll just pass here. We should be able to win from this position. They're going to go Perulia, but I will definitely give them 1 draw in order to get a negate. We'll go Buzzsaw Shark into a Big Jaws, then we will overlay for a Bahamut Shark, activate the Bahamut effect, go for Toad, and then proceed to the battle phase. 19 and 62 should wrap it up. Our second match is up against Azamina Labrynth, which you can just barely tell based on the Chandra Liger in hand. God, decks this format are just going to be as much non-engine as you can carry. Our opponent's going to begin with a copy of Chandra Liger. They're going to discard this Fuwa Ross for a big welcome Labrynth, then set 2, including a Droll and Lockbird. Looks kind of silly sitting there, but I imagine it'll be making its way back into the hand. We'll go 7th Tachyon here and grab ourselves a copy of Drake Shark, and guess what? It's Poplar, so we'll special summon it. We'll go for the Abyss Shark afterwards. Our opponent's going to Ash Blossom, and I guess we probably want to commit to the Big Jaws. We'll go Big Jaws here, and then we'll activate the effect. It's going to grab us from deck to hand another Drake Shark, and we'll overlay for a Shark Drake. We'll activate the effect, targeting the back row, and we'll suck it up. Then we're going to normal summon a Buzzsaw and get eaten alive by a big welcome Labrynth. Lovely Labrynth is going to trigger along with Chandra Liger here. They're going to go ahead and pop our copy of Buzzsaw Shark, but we can still make Xyz Armor Fortress. We add a couple of cards. They do not droll here. I think correctly understanding they're going to have to activate that Chandra Liger if they want to stay in this game. We'll get in with the Dark Knight Lancer. They will go for the Chandra Liger, and then we'll proceed to the end phase into a set copy of Welcome Labrynth. They draw an Ash for turn. Let's fire off the Welcome Labrynth, and now they get to combo just a little bit. They're going to go Ariana and grab themselves a copy of Lady Lab. They're going to summon the Lady Lab, then activate the effect of the big Welcome Welcome Labrynth, the graveyard to put back the Dark Knight Lancer, at which point they'll Chandra Liger to get it back to the hand. They'll go Muckraker and Muckraker effect, targeting this copy of Lovely Labrynth, which will reset this copy of Welcome Labrynth before getting in for 39. This is a pretty comprehensive setup, especially with the Chandra Liger in hand, but we're looking pretty good too. We're going to lead with our 7th Tachyon, revealing 101, and grab ourselves a copy of Buzzsaw Shark once again. We'll lead surfacing Big Jaws. Let's go Big Jaws in order to grab once again the Drake Shark, which we can special summon from our hand. We'll do that, then overlay for a copy of Bahamut Shark, Bahamut for Toad, and now we can commit to our actual play. Let's normal summon a Buzzsaw Shark, activate its effect targeting itself, and out comes Xyz Remora. We'll overlay for a Silent Honor Arc. We'll try to get that copy of Lovely Lab. They will chain Welcome Lab in order to grab from deck a copy of Ariana. That's fine. They're going to go Ariana. This I will Toad, I think. We'll take the Ariana. They will prevent the destruction with the Muckraker, and then we will activate Toad to get back the Xyz Remora. Cool play, right? We'll go Xyz Remora here in order to summon 2 more monsters back, and we should be able to lock it up. We're going to go for a Bahamut Shark. We'll activate the effect of the Abyss Shark in hand, and then afterwards we can go ahead and grab a Buzzsaw Shark, reincarnate, unveil mail this Silent Honor Arc, and get in for a fair amount of damage. Now, this is just under lethal, but shouldn't be a problem because, of course, Stealth Kragan represents lethal at any stage of the game. We'll go for that, hitting in for 19 during the battle phase before activating the effect of Bahamut Shark in main phase 2 and grabbing Lavirtue Dragon into Virtue Stream. We'll activate its effect as well. Don't get to do that all the time. And then set 1 card and pass back to our opponent. They draw another Chandra, unfortunately. They'll go Chandra for a back row, and we should be able to lock it up just by virtue of having a negation. In main phase, we're going to activate the effect of the Bahamut Shark. That forces them to big welcome early, but we drew an Ash. Get owned. Down comes the Toad, and we'll get in for well over lethal. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing Fiendsmith Yubel, and we're playing... God, who knows what we're playing? 7th Ascension Turbo, apparently. Okay, all right, whatever. We're going to go 7th Ascension. That I hope is enough. We're going to go ahead and grab a 7th Tachyon. We'll activate the effect, revealing 101. And, baby, let's get a copy of Big Jaws. Big Jaws to our side of the field. We'll activate the effect of the Big Jaws in order to grab from deck to hand an Abyss Shark. Kind of a wacky line, but when you have no other options, you do what you got. We're going to go Buzzsaw Shark, targeting itself, and grabbing a copy of Xyz Remora. And then afterwards, we're going to go for Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark here for Lavirtue Dragon. We've already played into Nibiru, so no reason to continue to play around it by going Toad early. Let's go ahead and activate Lavirtue Dragon into Armor Fortress effect for Xyz. Then we'll go into Crystal Zero Lancer, Stealth Kragan, Xyz Remora, targeting both the Big Jaws and the Buzzsaw Shark, and then overlaying for a copy of Bahamut Shark, finally ending on a copy of Totally Awesome. We'll set 4 and pass back to our opponent. They'll draw for turn. They're going to lead with a copy of Terraforming. Now, we don't have a lot of Spell Trap negation here, which is unfortunate. We are going to hold here. We'll go Nightmare Thrown into Spirit of Yubel. That's worth a Dominus Impulse, I think. Afterwards, they are going to go for a Phantom of Yubel, at which point we have to Virtue Stream, I believe, getting rid of this copy of Buzzsaw Shark. Afterwards, our opponents could go for a Magnemite, no big deal, that's fine, and Magnemite effect on field, which is a perfect time to Stealth Kragan so they don't threaten something like our Toad. They'll go for Samsara D Lotus, we have an Infinite Impermanence, and they'll scoop it up. Yuck. That last one kind of felt like Go Fish. No pun intended. For game 2, we have opened Dimension Shifter. I didn't get to talk about it much in the card by card because this card really does hurt our deck. It just hurts decks like Yubel more. We're going to fire it in draw phase, and then our opponent's going to go for Samsara D Lotus, which we will Ash, forcing them to set 1 and pass. Okay, what can we accomplish here? We draw for turn. That's a nice one. We'll begin with a copy of Buzzsaw Shark. We'll activate the effect targeting itself and grabbing an Xyz Remora, at which point we'll overlay for a copy of Bahamut Shark. We'll activate Bahamut Shark for Toad, and I'm feeling like a genius here before I realize, oh, right, Toad doesn't actually work under Shifter. Okay, well, we'll go Fortress, and as we reincarnate Unveil Mail, we'll get hit by a Nibiru. Okay, that's my bad, that's my bad. We do still have plays, however. We're going to go Big Jaws. Big Jaws effect, we're going to go ahead and grab Drake Shark. We'll use Drake Shark's effect in order to summon itself to our side of the field, and then we will overlay for nothing. Hot nothing. Okay, fine. We'll just pass set 2 and hope for the best. Our opponent's going to draw for turn. Fiendsmith Tractus is a great one. They'll activate the effect in order to grab a Lurie. They'll activate the Lurie. That gets eaten by Called by the Grave, and then afterwards they can go ahead and attack over the token. They'll normal summon this copy of Grave Squirmer and try for the Fiendsmith line in main phase 2, but we do have the Dominus Impulse to negate the effect of the Requiem, and now we're just kind of staring at each other. We're up by 1 card, but we keep drawing hand traps. That's what happens when you play 19 non-engine, and so do they, apparently. We'll draw 1 more time, and oh my god, that's like the best card in our deck. Okay, we'll go Buzzsaw Shark, targeting itself, into an Ash Blossom. Figures, I mean, they had to be drawing into something. We'll get in for 16, and the clock is on. They'll draw for turn, and oh my god. Okay, best draw in our deck, followed by best draw in our opponent's deck. We can't really interact with that, unfortunately. They're going to go for Gruesome Grave Squirmer here to summon back the Spirit of Yubel to grab a Nightmare Pain. We can at least Ghost Ogre the Nightmare Pain, which we will do, but unfortunately I think they still have it locked up from this position. Muckraker, they're going to go ahead and shuffle 2 back to make a copy of Phantom. Muckraker effect targeting, oh god, the Requiem. Yeah, let's go next. So it's time for that all-important Game 3 and strange opener, but it does have a Called by the Grave, so I can't be too mad. We're going to go ahead and grab a copy of 7th Tachyon. We'll activate the effect, revealing 101. We're going to go ahead and grab ourselves a copy of, you guessed it, Big Jaws. Big Jaws effect, we'll summon it to our side of the field. We'll activate the effect, and we will grab ourselves a copy of Abyss Shark. Abyss Shark will activate. We'll activate the effect in order to grab a Buzzsaw. Normal summon the Buzzsaw, activate its effect, and walk into an Infip. That's okay. That's okay. We can still do stuff here. We're going to overlay for a copy of Bahamut Shark. We'll activate the effect into an Effect Veiler, and that is probably worth the Called by the Grave. We do actually have to play the game at some point. Okay, let's go ahead and get ourselves a copy of Virtue Dragon. We'll activate the effect in order to grab a copy of Virtue Stream. Then we'll overlay for an Xyz Armor Fortress, activating the effect in order to grab 2 cards. We will go ahead and overlay for Chris Zero Lancer and Virtue Dragon in order to detach that material, grab ourselves Follow Up, and pass back to our opponent. They're going to begin with a copy of Dark Beckoning Beast. That's fine, I think. They're then going to go Opening of the Spirit Gates, and that's 2, so probably worth the Virtue Stream. From this position, they are going to activate Nightmare Pain and then fire the effect. We will Ash Blossom that, and they are forced to go ahead and make a Phantom of Yubel and pass. We'll use Full Armored Xyz to go into a Dark Knight Lancer and then draw for turn. This should be Lights Out. We'll activate the effect of the Virtue Dragon in order to cycle back this copy of Abyss Shark, which we will then activate. Abyss Shark is going to do its thing into Drake Shark. Drake Shark will summon and we'll make Shark Drake. Shark Drake is going to target the Nightmare Pain. We'll take it and we'll go 7th Ascension in order to grab a Tachyon once more. Big Jaws time. Let's summon the Big Jaws. We'll activate the Big Jaws effect in order to grab a copy of Buzzsaw Shark, and we'll overlay for a C32 Shark Drake Leviathan. They're going to go for Phantom of Yubel. We will contest it with our copy of Full Armored Xyz in the graveyard. They get to activate the effect of the Spirit into a Yubel, but we can normal summon the Buzzsaw Shark into Silent Honor Arc in order to take it. Oh, thank goodness. Let's go to the battle phase and get in for well over lethal. So we're back with the deck, and wow, if you thought 9 engine pieces and 21 non-engine was going to be a thing of the past, think again. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. You've got a ton of combos. Multiple 1 and 1.5 card combos with 2 extenders means you can play through singular hand traps really easily. 2, the end boards have multiple points of layered interaction, which is new for these Xyz spam negate decks. Looking at you, Goblin. Things like Dark Lancers equipped, the Toad negate, multiple monster and card pops from Virtue. It's nice. And 3, Virtue Stream's attribute changing effect in Graveyard can sometimes come up. Sure, it's all right with cards like Stealth Kragan, but it's also fantastic against decks that are trying to make Fiendsmith things happen. You know, change Lurry to water, see what happens. And the cons. 1, you search a lot. All its extenders come from extra searches, so an early droll on a Tachyon opener can really impact the power of your board. 2, Nibiru is still a problem. You'd think it wouldn't be because you can go Bahamut Toad, but frequently you just don't draw the extenders necessary to move past that. In fact, in that second game we played, we elected not to do a Nibiru-proof line just because it would have been like Abyss Dweller pass. If you draw an extender again, you can avoid it entirely and still build the board, but without the extra one, you really can't do anything. And 3, your cards mostly go 1 for 1, so playing for second usually requires just seeing a certain amount of non-engine more than a certain amount of your opponent's engine. It feels a little like Go Fish, which of course is apt, and obviously cards like D-Barrier post-board completely lock you out of the game, so the gameplay loop can be a little boring. Overall, they've added some real consistency and bite to this otherwise mid deck. Expect to see many more Bahamut Sharks in your future. Oh, I get the QCR print now. So that's that. A huge shouts out to the individuals who make these videos possible, most notably my Patreons. The high tier ones are in front of you right now, and I will read their names as contractually obligated. First up is Slifer274, followed by Elena Tincher, Alex Perea, Allison Elliott, Ally, Brett Henry, Darkmaster Zork, Derpin Dragon, Devin Senpai, DJ Elefante, FPS Lord Derp, John Piet, Killer Croc 467, Night Mary, Legal Rights, Lockstone, Luis Hernandez, Lullaby of Souls, Master of Faster, Matthew M. Derezzo, MBT Play Madolce, Mike Carlotti, N54 Lionheart, Nacho Gonzalez, Nebulo Yu-Gi-Oh!, Project Mercury, Rose Lapine, Troy Says By Erasure is Gay, Who's Nick, Wonder Waffle, Your Pot of Greed Does What, and Yuki. Couldn't have done it without you.